All right, guys, I'm going to introduce you guys to Travis. He's the owner and
Proprietor.
yes.
Best strength conditioning coach out there.
Yes.
The best and only.
All right, what's up, people? I'm Travis Brown, the owner of Valkyrie Fitness. First and foremost, what Valkyrie Fitness is a functional strength and conditioning private training company. We specialize in everything from training athletes to professional, amateur, youth, and even your normal weekend warriors. So a little bit of everybody. But right now what we're doing is talking about what we do with our fighters. We have this thing called VFC, which is our Valkyrie Fitness Fight Club. And with the Fight Club, we have a specific kind of route that we go with our workouts. And it's really kind of dependent on how long we have until a fight, who the opponent might possibly be, even though that's never kind of our main thing. We never really care about who we fight. We more care about what we're doing to prepare for the fight. And then of course, duration of time, like training, like, you know, are we dealing with any pre-existing injuries coming from a previous fight or something like that? So all that stuff has to come into play whenever we are building the foundations for programming for our fighters, okay? So essentially, the main things that I always like to cover, and I tell these guys, with their backgrounds of grappling, striking, jiu-jitsu, judo, and everything that's entailed with MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and normal boxing, footwork, speed, balance, stability, those are going to be the most key components to make sure that their technique and form is reaching their ultimate peak. If they're not moving with the correct awareness of their body, then they're not going to be able to hit those exact targets that they're looking for. But we also want to make sure that they are hitting those targets with speed and power at the same time too, okay? One of the philosophies that we have at Valkyrie Fitness is I don't give a crap how much more talented the opponents are, nobody will ever outwork us at the end of the day. So even if we lose the fight, I guarantee you that opponent is going to be like, that is the most vicious fighter that I ever fought, because they would not stop the entire time. And that's kind of like what we promote up in the gym too. You know, we already think of a championship 5-round, 12-round mentality that we know every single section we must improve from what we did the section before, okay? It's all about progress. If you're not progressing, you're not really achieving anything. And I know there's a lot of talented fighters out there who are just now starting to get into strength and conditioning. I tell them all the time, you cannot negate anything in regards to the world of fitness if you want to make sure your career is reaching its peak and that you're able to have some actual durability in your career. And that's what you want to think about first and foremost, health. Am I going to stay healthy during this whole entire time frame? So some of the things that we also do with Valkyrie Fitness is we even include that into their workings. We make sure that we're focusing kind of on that PT recovery phase of the workout while we're going through our motions. Because of course we got to make sure that they make it to the fight and then give their best effort. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to erase some of the stuff that's not going on. So we generally go by a formula that's always involved with activation first. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to warm up the boys for 3 minutes on the bike, and then we're going to do this thing, sled protocol. Sled protocol comes from the West Side barbell influence that they use for a lot of their athletes, fighters. I went through a lot of the West Side barbell programming for certifications on just this particular GPP type of idea. And the goal here is to warm up the hips and also kind of start to promote what we were talking about earlier with we're already looking for recovery while we're going through our motions, okay? So we're gonna be going through 6 rounds where the boys are gonna be walking with 90 pounds on a sled over in the turf, and they're gonna just be holding a 20-pound sandball, and they're gonna be walking back and forth with those. It's boring, you know what I'm saying? It is nothing special. And I tell people all the time, all the stuff that we do, there's nothing on here that's new. You know, it's just the process of how we put it together and how it, you know, hits these guys. And it's all, you know, it's all science, man. If something doesn't work, we see that it doesn't work today, we take it out, we don't come back to it, we add something else in, see if that goes. So first part's activation. Now, since I know we got cameras and stuff on us today, I'm gonna make the sled protocol a little bit more exciting. We're gonna grab a 25-pound kettlebell, and I'm gonna have the boys do a snatch for 5 on each side with that 25-pound kettlebell. Then we're gonna get ugly because once we're all warmed up, we might as well test our endurance right off the bat. So we're gonna hop on the bikes. The assault bikes are something you will always see our fighters on because it is literally outside of running, one of the best ways we can keep increasing their aerobic capacity. A Tabata is a 20-minute where you're gonna be on the assault bike for 8 rounds, 4 minutes. You're gonna be going 20 seconds as hard as you can, and then they're gonna be recovering for 10 seconds, and then they're gonna keep that process going on for a total of 8 rounds, okay? The goal here is to really just fatigue them out completely, and then that way we can get the most out of our strength movements that we need to do today. Today, I really wanted to focus on some stability for these guys. So I'm gonna make them grab a barbell, put 75 pounds on the barbell, and they're gonna be doing some single leg deadlifts with those barbells, okay? Looking to get some activation from that backside. And then, since they love to show off their abs and stuff so much, and we got cameras, I'm gonna let them do some hanging knee raises so you guys can see them, do that. But the thing is they're gonna be doing 20 each time, and they're not gonna understand how their posterior is gonna be affected on each round of these deadlifts. So they're gonna see right off the bat, that second round of those hanging knee raises are gonna be as pleasant as they want them to be. And we got a total of 5 of them we're gonna do. Joaquin just got here, y'all. That's all the noise
over there.
In the background. Okay. These resistance exploders, this is kind of Travis's love of anime and just crazy chaos. What we're gonna be looking to do here is create a harness with resistance bands, and then we're gonna tie them up to our squat racks, so our little rigs that we have here that Max is hanging off of like a monkey right now. And then what I'm gonna tell them to do is I'm gonna tell them to pick a 3-strike combo so they can throw a 1-2 knee, they can throw a switch, whatever they wanna do, okay? But they're gonna be tied to this harness the entire time. And similar to the bike, we're gonna turn that into a Tabata time frame, where they're gonna have this resistance coming off of the rack and they're gonna work that combo, whatever it is, 3 strikes for 20 seconds over and over and over again, right? And then they gotta recover for 10. But the whole entire time, that resistance is gonna be pulling on them, When we do stuff like this, our goal is to remind ourselves that nobody gets to cut off the cage. We cut the cage off. So when we have opponents that try to hit angles on us, we can get to those angles a lot faster, because if I have Max connected to here, a simple movement like a speed skater is gonna promote that lateral movement. I really don't like these guys doing too much traditional lateral movement because of their knees. I don't wanna mess up ACL, LCL joints. They have a lot of jujitsu, a lot of wrestling practice that they need to do. So I need to make sure that those knees and stuff are healthy for that. The shit that we do in here is not that important in regards to their knees and their elbows and their shoulders, okay? We need to save all these parts because we need them to be able to escape. You know what I'm saying? When Max is on the ground, when Edric's on the ground, Kelly, Joaquin, any of the fighters that I've ever worked with, the goal is to keep these areas safe because they need to be able to use those with their hips to escape certain things when they're in jiu-jitsu positioning. So if they're down on the ground, I can't have Joaquin's elbows be tight if he needs to sweep someone and take over the back of somebody. He's not gonna be able to move that well because his hips might react, but is he gonna be able to arm? If Max has somebody trying to go for a choke, right, and they're trying to get a rear naked, I need to make sure that he's durable enough here, not too worried about what's going on up here because he's got to save this, but he needs to be durable enough here to be able to escape that choke. Pull those hands away, escape that choke, and then he can flip, sweep, get on top, boom, 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 do that work that he does on top, okay? So with this resistance exploder, the goal is to kind of mimic lateral movement, but really it's just more of what you see Joaquin doing damn near every single time you go on his Facebook page. he starts moving his feet side to side. He starts working on his own activation to start warming himself up for whatever combo he's looking to do that day. So if I can add resistance to what these guys normally do when they're shadow boxing or whatever, then what that's going to do is it's going to now promote power in that shadow boxing. It's going to take that shadow boxing up a little bit, okay? But they got to do it with the coach so that we make sure they're doing it safe, okay? Like if I leave this motherfucker to it, he'll add like 12 bands to a damn tree, and you'll see Max out there fucking trying to throw kicks and rip his fucking spleen out trying to do the shit, okay? We can't have that stuff. So we're gonna use a light band, and we're gonna use a weight belt as like a harness, and we're gonna work it from there. Might look ugly when it starts, but we'll get it there. I mean, we only can work with what we got. When we get finished with that, we're gonna do a 10-minute little metabolic AMRAP. It's gonna be a lot of grunt work involved in this. We're gonna go from slow and steady to power, then back to slow and steady, and then back to power. So they're gonna be pushing a prowler down and back with some weight, and then they're gonna hit sprawls, come up 1, 2, 10 of those. Then they're gonna yoke walk with our little yoke devices that we got here, which is gonna slow them right back down. And then just when their heart rate starts to raise back up when they're dropping those yoke walks off, they're gonna grab some kettlebells and they're gonna do single arm thrusters with those kettlebells. That's what we got, man.
So
we put work in, dude. Okay, enough talking, we gotta get to work.
Yo, this is
I'm late.